What's up? Spoon Swallow Beer Review. Shagdog's here. Drinking another Sierra Nevada. This episode is about Shagdog and Jammer. What if? Coming to a beer review near you. Basically just going over some crazy ideas of what Jammer and Shagdog, myself, could do if we made our own movie or story based on us. The first one would be like an adventure story. The Great Beer Heist. Shagdog and Jammer team up to infiltrate a high-security brewery and sample rare, exclusive beer. And then we have to escape with said beer with armed guards and ferocious dogs chasing us. How would it end? Fund us and you'll find out. Or another one, the quest for the perfect brew. Shagdog and Jammer embark on a journey to find the perfect beer, visiting various breweries and sampling different styles. That would be a good actual reality show. Going around the whole country, craft beers, liquor stores, whatever, and finding the ultimate beer. And we probably wouldn't find the beer, though, unless we took notes. Another one would be beer tasting mishaps, which this one probably could actually happen. Shagdog and Jammer participate in a beer tasting competition, but their lack of experience, well, that's not true. I don't like that. Leads to a comedic misunderstanding and incorrect guesses. Well, that might be true. Or the beer review disaster. Shagdog and Jammer start a beer review on their YouTube channel, but their different opinions and personalities lead to entertaining conflicts and hilarious. That happens already. But usually we don't review the same beers now, so it doesn't happen as much as it used to. Friendship stories. Shagdog and Jammer's beer buddy system. Shagdog and Jammer become beer buddies. We're already beer buddies. What the hell are they talking about? Exploring the world of craft beer together and sharing recommendations. We do that already. The Beer Festival Adventures. I like the sounds of that one. Shagdog and Jammer attend a beer festival, trying new beers, meeting brewers, and enjoying the festivities. Well, that's a little obvious if we went to a beer festival. Personal growth stories. That's a good one. Shagdog learns about different beer styles and brewing techniques from Jammer. It's like Jammer is the teacher, I guess. He's the Yoda, I'm the Luke. Expanding his knowledge and appreciation for craft beer, which is kind of true, actually. Jammer is the one that got me more into it. Jammer's beer review evolution. Jammer develops his beer review skills with Shagdog's feedback, becoming more discerning and articulate beer critic. That's probably true also. Yeah. And then some title options for some movies or epic adventures of Shagdog and Jammer. Tales of Taste. Shagdog and Jammer's beer adventures. Paws and Pints. They like to put Paws in there for me. Shagdog, I don't know why. Shagdog and Jammer's craft beer journey. The Brew Crew. Shagdog and Jammer's beer reviews. Doggone good beer with Shagdog and Jammer on their beer adventures. And Brew-tiful Friendships. Shagdog and Jammer's beer stories. They all sound like great, bedtime stories or whatever. Yeah, I'm reaching. AI really sucks. But anyhow, it's actually kind of funny that AI remembers some things that you input in there. It's remarkable that the system remembers stuff, although it messes up sometimes too. So it's not perfect. Not yet. Now, I use Chat GPT and Meta AI, and sometimes I like Meta AI better than Chat GPT, actually. And you would think Chat GPT is supposed to be more superb, but Meta AI actually works better for me sometimes. I'm not sure why. Yeah, the Spitter Swallow beer review. I thought about that many years ago. Me and Jammer going on there was a TV show, a channel. I don't know if it's on the cable network I had in Florida or if it's a nationwide thing. there was a show on HDTV, which wasn't a regular channel, something with the cable network. You go to their thing that had HDTV or something, and there was two dudes who went around the bars and they made their own drinks. The bartender would tell them how to make the drink, and they poured their own liquor in, and the guys pouring extra liquor and making their drinks. And the one guy was fucked up all the time, drunk, and I was like, shit, that should have been a show for me and Jammer. I would have been the drunk one all the time, probably. Hey, that might work too. A comic book series, shit. A graphic novel, yeah. But that would have been a great show, yeah. And then me and Jammer actually thought about a few years back. I don't know, about had to be more than 5 years ago, 7, 8 years ago, 6 or 7 years ago. We just talked about it. We weren't really going to do it or anything, although it would have been great. Getting an RV, traveling around the country, doing beer reviews everywhere. And if the beer review channel got big, which it would if you were traveling, because I think you get more followers, subscribers if you're doing videos, you're in front of Mount Rushmore doing it, or even on top of Mount Rushmore doing a damn beer review. Devil's Tower, doing a beer review on the Golden Gate Bridge. There's a whole bunch of crazy places, yeah. And we're like, well, if we don't make, we could get a T-shirt, a printer, computer printer thing to make T-shirts. We could stop at different places, pre-make the T-shirts before we get there, start making them. Smoky Mountains, make a bunch of T-shirts, sell them right out of the RV at the campground. Smoky Mountain T-shirts, Tennessee, whatever. Up in different, national places like Yellowstone or whatever. Make T-shirts, start making them before you get there. That'd be our travel money. And then if the beer review YouTube channel got big, we would stop making fucking T-shirts, I guess. But it almost could have came true. I went out with this girl a couple of times, and she was crazy. And she's like, "Well, I'll buy an RV. I'll travel with you guys." I was like, "Wow!" But she wanted to buy a used one, and she smoked a lot of pot, and I was like, "Yeah, that probably wouldn't go too well." But I did tell Jammer, I said, "Sell everything you got, and let's buy an RV and do it." But he wouldn't do it either. So, yeah. You got to take a leap sometimes. Not just a step. You got to take a leap to make your dreams come true on the Spitter Swallow Beer Review. Yeah. That would have been fun. Now Jammer's married. He got married how many years ago? 2020, end of 2021. So there goes that idea. Unless his wife wants to go with us, I'll still tell him, "Hey, sell everything." You're right. It's not too late. Just say, "Hey, you and your wife just sell everything and let's do it." And I'll get myself a girl to go on the road with us, a little road tramp. We'll make her drive while we're drinking beer. Yeah. Hey, there's people on YouTube that are like traveling. I've seen some. I used to DoorDash, and I watched a video one time. This dude DoorDash, and he was in California, and he was living out of his car, DoorDash, and drive him and his two friends, all 3 different cars, driving around California DoorDash. I'm like, what the fuck? They're living in their car, DoorDash, traveling around. But he didn't normally live in his car. He lived in Las Vegas, but they decided to do a trip, go to California, DoorDash, and live out of their cars while they're doing it for like 2 weeks or whatever. I was like, that's fucking crazy. And then after I watched that, I started coming across more videos of people living in their car, traveling, and I was seeing all the views these people were getting. I was like, what the fuck? And then a couple girls I started watching doing that sort of thing. As they start getting so big, one of them was able to buy a damn Sprinter van eventually, and the other one bought some like English, British, like a war like a Land Rover, but it's actually a military type Land Rover, pretty big Land Rover, like a British Land Rover, and they're getting lots of views. Of course, I don't have titties and cleavage and a sweet smile and all that kind of stuff, so it kind of helps if you're a female. But yeah, and they're getting lots of views, and they still do. And there's a couple other girls I watch too. I'm like, damn, these bitches getting all these views just because they're women. And all these dudes like, wow, you're a pretty lady, that kind of stuff. I guess I could dress up as a woman and hope for the best, right? Yeah, they're influencers now. Yeah, that's crazy. And there's this other guy I watch. He's a homeless guy. He's an alcoholic, recovering alcoholic, and he lived in his car doing DoorDash, and then he went. They put it right on there. I made this much doing DoorDash, and this much from the YouTube channel. They're making like more money than I make in 2 weeks. They're making in 1 week, or whatever, or more of that. I'm like, holy shit, they're making that much money. I'm in the wrong business. Yeah, we used to call those people. Yeah, there's even people out there that actually go around interviewing homeless people out in the street, and I'm like, damn, let's do something like that, right? Let's go get my camera and go around finding homeless people. Like, how'd you become homeless? Stuff like that. Yeah, there's people on the West Coast. I'm not sure where you guys live, but I guess the West Coast more open. I forget the name of the type of land, but you could go out in certain lands and just stay out there. They give you like a time limit, 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever it is. And there's one group, they're all in their cars living out there in a commune, a car commune, I guess. I was like, what the fuck? Wow, that's crazy. But some of the girls make big money doing that. This other girl, she took a trip to India. Makes enough money on YouTube. She took a trip to India, took a trip to Mexico. Now she's back in the U.S. traveling around in a car again. But some of them get kind of boring and repetitive. What is that? I can't see. Let me get my magnifying glass. What is that? I still can't tell what it is. Is that a lizard? Alligator? I can't tell. Let me know what that is, Josh. Yep, got my magnifying glass, but it's like some type of alligator, but the tail's way up high. I don't know. Is that like a lot lizard? Might be a lot lizard. It's pretty cool, actually. Yeah, I tell you, working and grinding. Oh man, I should be an influencer. Yeah. You wish it was a lot lizard? Yeah. Hopefully Jammer back on next week. I gotta get some short videos up. Man, I actually went through like 5 different videos and generated the shorts, and nothing was coming up last time. It was horrible. I was like, man, I can't. And then our good buddy that views us from Italy, Freaky Freaks, he joined us one day, audio. He couldn't get his camera up, but he was on there audio, and he speaks broken English. But the whole video we were on with him, like an hour and 15 minutes, every short video that came up was him talking. I was like, well, we can't upload. I could upload one of them, and maybe put in the comments thanks to him for joining us. But yeah. Sometimes we get off topic. We get on politics and social shit, and I hate doing that. I just want to talk about fun stuff, but sometimes we get on that crazy shit. I guess it's pounded in you so much from media, and it's like, I'm more talking about just crazy crap and beer and women. I found this new girl on a porn site the other day. No, just kidding. Anyhow, I fell in love. I didn't pay her any money, but because I can't believe on certain sites they're doing a whole bunch of stuff without going private. They get people tipping them or whatever. I'm like, wow. And she's talking sexy to those people tipping, but I'm imagining she's talking sexy to me. That's who she's talking to, and I ain't even paying them 1 cent. But yeah, she was beautiful. I fell in love. Unfortunately, she's a fantasy because no women are really like that, especially for 4 hours straight. But yeah, anyhow. Oh yeah. Why would you pay for that when it's like on Chatterbait? Or I can't get certain porn sites here now in this state because they blocked them out. Well, they didn't block them, but they came out a law this past November or it went in effect. It was already previously voted for or something. I don't know. I don't even know if we voted for that. Since I've been here, I didn't see that on the election ballot. But any porn site like Pornhub or any of that kind of stuff, South Carolina, I think Florida too, and Louisiana already did it. You had to put in your ID information, your driver's license information, all that. So Pornhub and all of them say, we aren't dealing that. We're just not going to let people in those states. So if you go to them from this state, you can't get out. Now I could probably do one of those IP address things, probably work my way around that. Yeah, that sounds communist to me too. But somehow Chatterbait, I was able to get on there. So I don't know why that didn't ask me for information. Oh, wait, but Chatterbait asked me if I did a facial identity thing. They do a facial identity, I think, to prove that you're old. So I guess they could tell you're. But now somebody's got my facial print, and I'm probably in the database as a sexual watcher now. But oh well. I'm surprised I didn't break the system with this girl. But yeah, that's crazy. I mean, you can't go to porn sites. I mean, what kind of communist country we live in, right? That's taking a step back in time. So what? I gotta go out and buy magazines now. I don't even know if they sell magazines anymore. Do they? I mean, probably at a porn shop or something, but not at. Back in my young days, man, they had magazines at convenience stores and stuff. They had them wrapped so kids couldn't see them or anything. But yeah, you go in a convenience store back in my day. When I lived upstate New York, they had Playboys in the magazine rack, and they had a plastic wrap around it. But yeah, that's that conservative stuff with Florida. And I don't. What really concerns me is that at least I don't know. I haven't lived in Florida since 2021. I'm in South Carolina, but since I've been in South Carolina, I don't recall that being on the ballot anywhere. So shouldn't that be something that's voted on? You would think. Yeah. Of course, state votes don't count either because back in the early 2000s, early to mid 2000s, Charlie Crist was governor at that time in Florida, and they had a vote. I think it was like 2000 vote. Put some type of rail thing in Florida, which would put some rail system down the east coast of Florida, plus come across Orlando to a Tampa. And this whole state voted yes for it, and the federal government was going to fund it. Well, many, many years later, I guess the state had the money. They never did it. And then Rick Scott became governor, and he gave the money back to the feds. Didn't want the rail there. So what did the state do with that money the whole time they had it for like eight or 10 years? Were they making money off it with interest? I don't understand that. And then they give it back to the federals. I was like, well, that's pretty shitty. We voted, we wanted that, and you're giving them, that's crazy. That would have helped traffic. Of course, I don't know how good a rail system would work in Florida, then the maintenance on it and all that kind of stuff. So maybe it would have cost money in the long run. Who knows? I don't know. But yeah, it's almost bedtime for Shagdog. Wish Jammer could have been on here. He's the heart and soul of the show. Yeah, he's probably sleeping now too. He's got to work tonight too, but he has been under the weather since he came back from Italy, so he caught that Pope flu. He was in Italy when the new Pope was elected. He wasn't there when the last one died, so I can't blame him for the last one dying. So if he was there when that Pope died, I would have blamed Jammer. But leave it to Jammer. He goes to schedule this crap like a year and a half ago to go to London, Paris, Rome, and he just happens to be in Rome when a new Pope is elected. I mean, and what are the odds? If I would have told him 15 years ago, hey, you're going to be in Rome when the new Pope is elected, 3 popes from now, which. Wait, when did John Paul die? John Paul II. Was that in the 2000s? Did he make it to the 2000s? When did Pope John Paul II die? 2005. 2005, okay. And then the other guy became Pope, and then he resigned due to health issues or whatever. And then he died a couple years later. Well, Pope John Paul is a pope for a freaking long time. What, since the 70s? All the way up to 2005? That was a long-ass time. And he took a bullet. I wonder if that guy's still in jail. Is the man who shot Pope John Paul II still in jail? Oh, that's right. He got freed a couple years ago. 2010, after serving 29 years, he was initially sentenced. Is he dead, though? Because I heard they freed him because of health issues. But I think he's still alive. That fucker's still alive. So 15 years later, he's still alive. Wow. Oh, wait. After he left Italy, he was deported to Turkey where he served a 10-year sentence for some other murder that he did. And then he was released from prison in 2010. In 2014, he visited the Vatican City 33 years after his crime to lay white roses on the tomb of the recently canonized John Paul II, and said he wanted to meet Pope Francis. A request was denied. No shit, Sherlock. Oh, boy. And the guy's still... shit, I don't know. Maybe he didn't get out for health reasons. And then he served 10 years in a Turkish prison. I'm surprised he survived that. I saw Midnight Express. All right, well, that's going to do it for this one, Shag. Oh, I got a little beer left. I got a little bit left. Let's get that down. Kind of weird. Lately, some beers I'll drink like 3 or 4 beers and I'm buzzing really bad. And other times I'll drink 4 or 5 beers and no buzz at all. It's like crazy. Well, hopefully Jammer will be back this Wednesday. If not, it'll be the Wednesday after. If Jammer doesn't come back this week, I'm probably going to refrain from doing any beer reviews the rest of this week until Jammer comes back, because I got too many solo videos for the past 2 or 3 weeks, so we gotta get Jammer on here. So yeah. What? I didn't even hear about this. Here's some trending shit. I didn't even know there was going to be a Voltron movie. Anybody know about that? Is this true? Henry Cavill, aka the former Superman, is doing a Voltron movie, and Amazon dumps Henry Cavill's Voltron to streaming, no theatrical release. So it's not even going to be out in the movie theaters. It's just going to go straight to streaming on Amazon. But I never heard of a fucking Voltron movie. I hope it's good, but I probably suck. Well, interested. Well, Voltron, huh? Oh. Henry Cavill, Rita Ora, Sterling K. Brown, Elba Baptista, Daniel Quinn, Toy, Samson Kayo, John Kim, Theron, Laura Gooden, and Tim Griffin. Interesting. Voltron. Well, that'll do it for this one. Alex, Josh, thanks for joining in, commenting. We appreciate it. And hey, I'm not sure if you saw the short that we did for our Jammer's number one fan, Jammer fan. We did a short for, well, we're talking about people who joined us in the past doing the beer review, people we knew in Florida, and then Jammer fan. And then I mentioned something about Jammer fan's woman not really being in the video, but came up once to the camera, hey, said hi or whatever. But she never joined again. But then I mentioned something about her yelling at Jammer fan for, doing a beer review with me about a month or two ago. And then I said her name, Julia, and Jammer, as soon as he heard the word Julia, he started putting into the words of Kiss, Julia, Julia, oh, and I started singing along, like lick it up, So it's pretty funny. And Jammer fan saw that. As soon as I posted it, he put chicken fucks. Well, Jammer fan, I got a response to you. Hold on. I got your response right here to your chicken fucks. Jammer fan, I got your chicken fuck right here, boy. There's your chicken fuck. Cock-a-doo-doo-doo. What's the difference between Jammer fan and a rooster? A rooster says cock-a-doo-doo-doo, and Jammer fan says any cock-a-doo. That's called a chicken fuck. Rooster's back in the spot. We got that rooster back in this cockfighting spot. Yeah. All right, guys. We'll see you on the next one. Spit or Swallow beer review. And hey, Jammer's up there in the corner. He's always looking upon you when you're drinking beer. So be mindful. Always look over your shoulder because there might be Jammer up there in the corner of your room. We'll see you on the next one. Spit or Swallow beer review.